Assalamu alaikum. Well, hope you people are enjoying good health. I'm again with another lecture, and today my lecture is about human respiratory system. In this, we will discuss about different components of the respiratory system as well as the mechanism of inhalation and exhalation. And right now, this is a diagram of the respiratory system on your right side of the slide. Okay, respiration, our first term. If we discuss this term, then it is a process in which energy released from the food by the oxidation of the food molecule, and it is a biochemical process. So this is the respiration, and we can define it in this way: the process in which we require oxygen to oxidize a food molecule and release energy, whereas breathing is a process in which we get oxygen from the air and exchange of gases will take place in our lungs and release carbon dioxide. So breathing is a physical process and the respiration is a biochemical process, and both terms are different because most of the students remain confused with these two terms and consider it as a similar term, but this is not a similar term. They are quite different from each other. Sorry. Okay. The next one is the inhalation versus exhalation. In means inside, ex means exit. Well, it's a trick to remember these two terms. Most of the time I discuss different types of tricks to remember the different terms just for the ease of learning, because I used to do such type of tricks in my childhood as well. So in inhalation we take in oxygen, ribs moves outward, diaphragm moves downward. Exhalation, carbon dioxide moves outward, ribs moves backward, and diaphragm moves in the backward direction. Both the mechanisms, they are quite different from each other. As the movement of the ribs and diaphragm, they are also opposite in both types of terms. This diagram will further enhance your understanding regarding the inhalation and exhalation. In the first picture, the man take in the oxygen inside, due to which ribs moves in the outward direction, diaphragm moves in the downward direction. The reason is when the air moves inside, our chest become expand due to the air pressure. That is why diaphragm moves in the downward direction and ribs move in the outward direction. In the second case, when the air forced out, both the ribs and the diaphragm, they come back towards their original position as the pressure of air will become decreased. Here is a component of respiratory system. It starts from the downward towards the up with respect to its arrangement: mouth, nose, throat, voice box, diaphragm. Airways comprise of trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, and the last one is a lung. These are the components that are involved in the respiratory system, and the arrangement starts from the downward towards the upward direction. Okay, here's a flowchart. Flowchart shows the structure of the respiratory passage. It opens into the nasal chamber, internal nares, nasopharynx. These are the components of our nose. Then glottis, a part of larynx, then trachea. Then here are three structures of bronchi: primary, secondary, tertiary, and the last one is bronchioles. And these are basically considered as the conducting part, the parts which are involved in the respiration system. They conduct the respiration of the living organ. That is why these parts considered as a conducting part. Here is the exchange part. Exchange part is basically comprised of four structures: alveolar ducts, atria, alveolar sac, and alveoli. And they are involved in the exchange of gases, means the exchange of CO2 and oxygen. Here is the mechanism which explains the gaseous exchange take place in lungs. It takes place in the alveoli. Alveoli are thin and they are rich in blood capillaries, and they are rich in number as well. Then when we inhale air, oxygen goes in alveoli. It diffuses from the alveoli into the lungs. From here, oxygen moves to all parts of the body by blood, and the waste carbon dioxide, it moves back into the alveoli of the lungs. In this way, the exchange of CO2 and oxygen take place in the lungs. Sorry. Okay, exchange of gases at alveoli. Here is a lung, and the cross section is taken from the diagram of the lung. Right now, you will see the alveoli structure. Further, alveoli is explained in the extreme right side of the slide. Here, the CO2 and oxygen diffuse inside the alveoli, and the capillary is shown, in which the arrow shows that the CO2 moves in. O2 moves inside and CO2 moves outside from the capillary of the alveoli. As we discussed before, that the alveoli, they are rich in blood capillaries. So in this way, it helps in the exchange of the gases very easily, as they are rich in number. So in this, that is why exchange of gases take place at alveoli. Well, thank you so much, and end of the lecture. Enough for today. Bye bye.